Hey Runeborners, Steam Next Fest is almost here and this is our last big update before early access release. If you're new to Runeborn, welcome. We're a dark fantasy roguelike deck builder mixed with a deconstructed slot machine. If you haven't checked it out, our demo is live on Steam. So what's new in this update? We'll talk about a new and improved tutorial, our big win update banner, we'll talk about why we removed some trinkets, but also added 5 new ones. So this is our third or fourth iteration of our tutorial. We're always listening to feedback and making improvements. In this update, we added the rune book character to help guide you through the tutorial. I had a quick chat with Phil, our game producer, and asked him all about it. Hey Phil, why did you decide to add a character to the tutorial?
We found that it was way easier just to read it and ingest the tutorial when it was coming from a character. We actually had it, the same dialogue, the same everything before, but it was in like a tooltip that you would just read, and then once we made the update to put a character in it and speech bubble, and it just that visual effect of it coming from the character made it more engaging, like we were reading it more.
So what was the inspiration or decision behind the Runeborn design?
So we knew that we always wanted the character to be the rune book. We had that idea pretty early on, but we didn't know exactly what the rune book would be. We tried out a bunch of different examples. The one that we went with was like a wizard kind of mentor, your classic like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Gandalf, that kind of mentor figure from like a classical hero's journey. That resonated with the team. We tried some other ones like a darker, evil necromancer one or a cutesy animal kind of one, but we really liked the wise wizard sort of appeal to it.
The biggest and most notable visual update is what we call our big win banners. We received some initial feedback that when you get a big score or 5 in a row, it didn't feel good enough. The actual word used was it didn't have enough pizzazz. Considering that our game is a deconstructed slot machine, we felt like our game was missing that jackpot moment that slot enthusiasts love so much.
Wow. Woo, we got a crowd here.
Here's a brief conversation with Jonathan, our creative director, all about it. John, what was the inspiration for these new banner designs?
Yeah, so when I was reached out to update the new banner designs and actually put them in the game, some of the feedback we had was that the game didn't have like a certain punch while people were playing. So the one thing I wanted to do was a lot of the assets in the game, we try to put story in where we don't kind of have it. And one easy way to do that is to add faces on things. So a lot of the dark fantasy that we have in the game, we try to put like, I'll call them demon faces and monster designs that are in there as well. So you'll not only see them in the banner designs, but they'll be sprinkled throughout in all areas of the game. So hopefully it adds a little bit more punch when people are playing. And it lets another of our teammate Lucas get to put special effects in there too, which always brings life to the game.
In this build, we removed 19 trinkets. Here's Andrew, our system designer and QA specialist, to explain.
Yeah, so back when we were first developing our game, it was really useful having trinkets similar to Bellachio's for testing if our format even worked. Really, it's always been our intention to take our trinket list into a different direction. Our two games are definitely pretty similar, but I feel like there's so many different interactions we can make with the Runeborn board states and like how the inventory works. I feel like it was pretty necessary to start making space for our new ideas, and hopefully what we cook up with our new trinket list will allow for some pretty interesting build making. In terms of balancing, I think we'll be trying to monitor how well players will be completing the game, but I think in terms of the core gameplay, it should still feel like the same game as before. When balancing our new trinkets, it's always very tempting to make it like as broken as possible, but we promise we'll keep power creep to a minimum.
We've introduced 5 new trinkets in this build. Here's Ben, one of our game developers. You may have seen him playing Runeborn on our Steam broadcasts. So Ben, how hard is it to come up with new trinket ideas?
So trinket ideas, for the most part, it hasn't been too complicated. We've got a lot of inspiration from trinkets in other games, things like Bellachio, things like Slay the Spire. There's so many great roguelikes out there that have options of what they use to manipulate things. So we'll kind of take some of those ideas and just toss it into our nice little Runeborn game and the slot machine formula. So it hasn't been too bad at all for the most part. Sometimes you can get a little too carried away with some trinkets that might break the game a little bit, which are fun, but you know, there's a little balancing act there if it's how fun you want to make it and how easy it'll make the game, right?
Can you tell me of the 5 new trinkets that are in this patch, which one's your favorite?
Ooh, okay, easy one. So we added something called the Daoist Bracer, and it makes the light and the dark runes count as each other. We already have, I'm not sure, you know, for those of you who have played the game, we already have a couple trinkets that do similar things. So we have a legendary one called Distortion Lens, which makes light and earth count as the same, lightning and fire count as the same, and dark and ice count as the same. So just with that one alone, you can, you know, have some really cool combos. Daoist Bracer now allows darks and light to be the same. So if you have the 2 of them, now earth, light, dark, and ice are the same. And then we have one other one from the game before called Lightning Rod that makes lightning and earth the same. So then, you know, with the combo of all of them, no matter what you get, it'll always match. You can do some really weird, fun combos with dark and light now because of that, and or just everything really. It's a lot of new possibilities because of the Daoist Bracer.
So those are the big highlights of this patch 0.3.1. We are super excited to be participating in Steam Next Fest in the next couple weeks. If you want to come hang out, show off your big scores, come hang out on Discord. We'll be having a top damage contest next week, and then we'll also have a Reddit AMA on February 24th. Stay tuned for more updates as we finalize our early access build, soon to be released after Steam Next Fest. It'll include a 3rd act, a final boss, seeded runs, and more. Thanks for watching.